Hi there guys, and welcome to a slightly different cast today. Now I'm going to just sort of go through what has spawned this, explain a little bit more in a second. So I cast one of BartonPL's replays, and as you can see from this PM, we've been messaging back and forth a little bit. After Barton said he'd be able to help me out and send me some more replays. Now the replays he's suggesting that he does are more spammy kind of tactics. And I think it's important just to note that these things are in the game. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people complaining about glitches, or sort of like bug harass or abuse, just harassing the system just to get your own way out of it. I want to be quite clear. I mean, these things are in the game. These things are things that you can encounter. It doesn't matter if you think that strafe is OP. It doesn't matter if you think that conscript spam is ridiculous, because those things are in the game at the moment. You can apply to have those things changed, to be modified or taken out of the game, and hopefully they might be changed in the next patch. But up until that next patch, you may as well just learn to deal with it and find the counters for those things, which are very relevant to you playing this game at this very moment in time. So if you wake up tomorrow, you know, the strafe is still there. It doesn't mean you're not going to play the game ever again, even though some people have made mention of that. It just means that you've got to find the correct way of avoiding it or countering it then when possible. So in light of that, Barton's actually read, I don't know if you guys have had time to read some of this, but Barton actually suggests some things that he can do to, some spam things he can use and actually still win the game. So I sort of challenged him. I sort of said, yeah, I'd love to see the 120mm mortar spam from the Soviets. Also, I'd like to sort of see the Ostruppen spam as well, then, for the relief infantry from the Germans, and finally some artillery as well, just to see if he can pull off some nice artillery with the field officer. So Barton very willingly just went on stream today. He streamed these three tactics, one after the other. So I have these replays here for you, and I'm going to have a little bit of a look at them. I'm going to do some highlights. I'm going to do one in full, simply because I just want to highlight the actual points that we're talking about, the actual abuse, if you will, or the spam strategy, whatever side of the fence you're on the terminology of it. It's existing, it's there. So these videos are now part satirical, part analytical. It's half sort of laughing at yourself because these things can actually work, but it's also looking in a serious light, as in, what would I do to counter this? Where are the strengths and weaknesses in these strategies as well? So what we shall do is have a little look at the Ostruppen one, just simply because I just want to show you a clip of this. So I'm going to switch on over to the broadcast now. And just like that, using the mystifying abilities of time travel, I'm able to move this video right next to this one. As we can see, this is not Barton, definitely not Barton, this is Trollolol. And he's playing a 3v3. Now I only want to show a clip of this because what he's about to pull off now is this Ostruppen spam. We can see that he's got, he went for just 5 grenadiers straight off, and he's got this infantry he's got the half track next to him with the flamer upgrade as well. We can see he's hit level 3, so he now has the relief infantry ability, and he's just waiting for the munitions to actually pull this off. I've already watched this, and I've done a bit of maths for you, so I'll explain that in a second. Just to sort of go through the actual relief infantry, the actual help hints there say that you only get up to 3 squads. Now, as we're about to see, this isn't quite the case. So this play is borderline glitchy. You know, it's borderline abuse. But as I previously said, it's in the game. So we can see now he's going to bundle all his troops up now, and he's going to actually attack ground with his flamer. There you go. He's activated relief infantry now. Just keep an eye up here, and you can actually start to see like all the damage. So that one burst, he's got 1 Ostruppen coming out, and he's continuously reinforcing as well from the half track itself that he's flaming out of. He's able to keep most of his squads that way. And I've got some notes here, just while you can watch him burning out and just popping Ostruppen squads left, right, and center. In total, he loses 25 men, 25 units out of all of these, including the engineers. So I've done the maths for it. It costs around about 750 manpower if you were to do this and keep all of his squads alive. Unfortunately, he does lose one of his squads doing this. I say unfortunately, it's, you know, just the way he's doing it. So in fact, it is actually 890 manpower, including that squad loss, that this costs, as well as the 120 munitions. Sorry, excuse me. Yeah, 120 munitions it costs for the relief infantry to come out as well. But as you can see, he's just got himself a nice army of Ostruppen. He's got 6 squads of 6, giving him 36 men. And effectively, these have cost him, like I say, 890 manpower, plus the munitions to actually cost it. Now he has this huge ball of infantry that you can use, and they work out to be roughly, it should be about 125 manpower per squad if he didn't lose a squad, but because he did, it still really works out to be about 150 manpower per squad. So it's kind of like a big kill button, if you see what I mean, where if you save up enough resources, have the opportunity and plenty of infantry to use, you can just double it up very easily, well, even triple it up for what he actually originally had. And he's got so many bodies on the field now, so you can start using this as a possible means to counter the spam of conscripts. Kind of. Unfortunately, this, like I say, I only wanted to show the clip of this. Barton actually goes on to lose this 3v3. But I just want to sort of highlight that it's in the game, you know. It is kind of a bug. It will be fixed, I believe, on the one of the upcoming patches. But this is something you could very likely encounter. It should someone be so inclined to really harass you. There you see him putting on the relief infantry yet again for this little charge in. Just because he's got the munitions, he can. You know, he's not going to be able to do much against his T-34 with a good group of men shooting at it. But you can see his pop cap is still really low, 53 for all of this infantry out there. So his manpower income is not really affected that hugely by it. But there we are. Like I say, he actually goes on to lose his match later on. I just wanted to show you this big ball and that the play is in the game. So what does this all mean? Well, Barton himself, no matter what your opinion of him as a troll or etc. outside of the game, is a very skilled player. So he's able to pull off these kind of tactics quite handily. As we can see from this next video now, what I've actually done is just sped up one of the replays, because it's not so much the skill I want to focus on. We know that Barton is a skilled player. It's just trying to see how these plays, these different strategies, can really dominate a battlefield or you know, change the course of the game, just because these units aren't regularly made en masse. So one of the next challenges that I had for Barton was to have an artillery field officer play. Unfortunately, you can only have one out on the field at any one time, so you can't really just spam them out. But he decided to go for an arty spam first. And like I say, I didn't want to show the whole video. The replay is available if you want to take a look at that. I just wanted to speed through it all and just be able to highlight the key points of the strategy and what he's doing and how you could possibly counter it if needs be. But anyway, let's crack on with this next video. And thanks again to the magical fairies that live in my PC, I'm able to turn back the effects of time and show you this just smooth. I mean, I bet you didn't even notice there was a transition there. I mean, you just bet thought it not happened naturally. Anyway, on to this game. So definitely not BartonPL. Trollolol over here. I'm going to play the replay back in 8 speed, because I just simply don't want to talk about the skill that he's using there. We know that he's a skillful player, that he can use certain units in a very effective way. So I just want to sort of show you the strategy and the build order that he's going, and how it can be effective. He's starting off with pioneers, and he's going straight into a sniper. And I'm going to show you Tanuki over here then as well. He's going to start off with conscripts and just start moving into the middle area. I'm going to switch back over to Barton. I'm going to take Fog of War off, simply because this isn't a critical analysis. This is more of a reviewing of a strategy. So he's going to keep his pioneers over here in green covers, hopefully push off the combat engineers that would have taken him down otherwise. See, the sniper is out in play now as well. So it's a nice sniper micro. He does demonstrate. He's able to start taking shots, keep away from damage, use his pioneers as his meat shield then to actually take and absorb all this damage. And that conscript does get away, so the conscript is going to have a bit of trouble. And the other sniper comes and joins his buddy and starts pinging away. These guys are capping away up top now as well. Third sniper coming out now, and it's going to be followed by a fourth, which means that even though he's in 6-man squads, as soon as he gets 4 snipers out, that fourth sniper means that once one volley of barrage goes off from his snipers, any conscript squad that takes that will have to get out or basically die, just lose the entire squad. So it's very difficult to actually use the conscript squads then against all of these snipers. What does he need to do against these? He needed to detect a tier 1 as soon as possible. Unfortunately, he went to tier 2 and got an MG out, which, yeah, MG's coming out now, which really isn't the greatest play, especially against snipers. I'm not too sure what he was thinking there. But the best about it, like I said, was to try and get the tier 1, try and get the scout car out. I mean, it will have been countered by his opponent's scout car, which means he just needed to get the guards out as soon as possible. So he has the guards out in time. but unfortunately he doesn't have the scout car. If he had the scout car to deal with the snipers first, then he would have been able to counter this guy as well. As it stands, though, I mean, he's got 4 uncounted snipers out in the field, and he's toying with his opponent quite early. I mean, this is an auto match. I did see it on the live stream, so this was an auto match. It wasn't a fixed rigged game or anything like that. But his opponent was quite severely out-leveled, at least. I won't say outskilled, but he's certainly out-leveled. So he pushes off from here, and this is where Barton starts to show off a little bit, if you will. Then he could very easily go and cap the fuel, deny the fuel. He could easily enough go and start capping up this area now as well, but he's simply toying with his opponent because he wants to get this arty spam off just to show how it's used. So he has the artillery field officer out in play now. Artillery field officer is a call in. What it does, it gives a nice bonus of accuracy and increased rate of fire to enemies nearby troops. He chooses to wish it, which is 15 munitions, and you can also call in that smoke. So you called in that smoke there, which is a nice, well, it was a big wall of smoke which he unfortunately used to assist his opponent's T-17 getting out. But it can be used greatly as both defensive and offensive screening to hide your retreating vehicles, to mask your incoming flanks. So the T-70 comes back in to have a little look around now. But these 2 scout cars, 2 upgun scout cars are enough to take out a T-70. We did have the pack here, but as soon as he gets some veterancy on the scout cars, they start doing a great amount of damage against medium tanks and even heavy tanks if you can get some shots in the rear armor. So it does become the equivalent of a better T-70. So bear that in mind when you see that scout car, because as a Russian player, I also get the feeling when I see the upgun scout car, I go, I haven't got any vehicles out in the field. And then they sort of last all game, hit the veterancy 3, and suddenly are beast machines. We can see he's trying to just make any play he can to come out of this base, but there you go. Like, one volley means that guy has to get out, and the next volley means that these guys have to get out, and the combat engineers definitely had to get out because there's only 4 men in the squad in the first place. So he's really won this game already if he so chose to go and take the points, move his troops forward, and really be straight in the face of his opponent if he wanted to stay here. But no, as I say, he's banking up a lot of manpower now because he wants to wait for his 4th CP to build down a lot of artillery, just to show how the artillery can dominate the battlefield itself as well. Snipers having a poke around, having a little sniff for some free kills, which they do get. Start poking away on this. This T-34 comes out, which is a good idea, but unfortunately, well, he hits a miner right there, so he takes a lot of damage. The T-70 would be, sorry, the T-34, excuse me, would be able to take down both of these scout cars, but unfortunately, with the pack gun present, he can't really make himself known and move in to take him out. And he's obviously going to have to limp back and try and repair this up if possible. But now we see Barton's getting his artillery placements down, and he's going to turn this central VP into a massive hardpoint. He's got mines over here still as well, which were never used because his opponent never was able to get that far down his base. And here they are. Now they're in position to start firing away. The difference between the German artillery and the Soviet artillery, the German artillery has a much lower cooldown. And I mean a much lower cooldown, so you can fire more barrages more often. It has slightly longer range, but it does do slightly less damage. With the artillery field officer present and the increased reload rate then that his buff can give these things, it's awesome, as well as he has an 80 munitions ability, which can call down a concentrated barrage. So he can call it down, and all of his artillery, whether it's on cooldown or not, will start shooting out of here. Now I'm going to show you the base real quick. The base is starting to get pretty crated up, but it gets a lot more crated up than that, trust me. If we go and have a look at the hard point now, he's going to start building down some bunkers. And with these snipers now, he's fed up with them, he's bored of microing them, so he's just going to run them about, and he's going to start losing them there. Look, one goes down there. He's going to move them out into the front of the base. It's just again, it's a bit more of a bravado play, saying I don't need these snipers to win now. I've got all that I need to win because he will never get past this middle VP. And these guys are starting to rack up some kills just targeting in base. Now, is base artillery abuse? Again, it's one of these debatable things, and how it comes down to what you classify as abuse. I would say no. I would say it's in the game. I would say that anyone can do it, both Soviets and Germans can do it. It is extremely frustrating when it happens to you, especially when you start losing units on retreat. But then you should have had you shouldn't have let it get to this position in the first place. The game was kind of over before the artillery was made anyway. Like I say, it was kind of an outskilled opponent, and a bit of an unbalanced match. But those things happen in an auto match. Again, it's stuff that really happens. So he's trying to use this M5 half track to get these guys out and to get close enough to start doing some damage to this artillery. It's not a bad idea. Unfortunately, this hard point is become even harder with the addition of 3 MG bunkers plus the emplacement of the Pak 43 gun, which has a huge range and really does a number on any vehicle. It can twirl around the sea. Okay, so this replay is nearly over now. It's just followed by a lot of base arty. So we're going to let the base arty go off here, just so you can continue to see all the damage goes down. He makes the point of taking out that bunker now, and he's going to start turning his focus on the main base, because as soon as he can kill off the main base, really wins the game. It's win by annihilation, you know. So, I mean, thoughts on this? It's, as I say, it's in the game. I mean, if his opponent was able to get that initial scout car, the tier 1 scout car off instead of the tier 2, he'd have been able to counter the snipers. He had the right timing for the guards versus the upgun scout cars then as well, but it just didn't come together for him, unfortunately. I mean, the pros of this thing is it's sweet. It's able to just pound away from such a huge range that he can hardly even get in to actually see the actual emplacements to order in any artillery of his own, any off map that is. Would he been able to counter it with artillery of his own? Not in hell's chance. Chance in hell. Hell freezing over. Use one of those. Fill it in the gaps. Because the artillery has that range advantage and the speed advantage, as soon as he fires off one barrage, he's going to find that he's got two. He's going to have 2 emplacements firing back at him. So it'd be very difficult to beat rock with rock, if you will, and with the old paper rock. Scissors analogy, this base is going to take a bit more of a pounding from now 4 emplacements, including Vet 2 there with 25 kills, another Vet 2 with 21 kills, and it's actually going to end the game. The VP kind of is still ticking, but because he's lost his building, he loses then to annihilation. There we go. I mean, you don't see annihilations every day. Barton was toying with this person, and the person was of a lower skill, but that's auto match. I mean, that again, you can't sort of say, oh, I keep having like high skilled players beating me. There must be something wrong with auto match. Well, no, you know, this is auto match as we have it right now. You're gonna have to deal with it until, you know, there could be fixes, there could be adjustments to it. It could stay the same for the rest of the game. You may as well learn to enjoy it and sort of appreciate the fact that you're going to have very difficult matches or very easy matches every now and then, and just do your best that you can. So that's the strategy there for you guys. Take it with a pinch of salt. I don't expect the beginner players to be able to pick up the 4 sniper strat very easily and just sort of go on a rampage like Barton did there, but it's food for thought. It's something you can possibly think of, just creating a hard point as difficult as this to beat, or straight on top of a VP as well. It's nice to sort of see he's got all the angles covered from this side. If he was able to come around the back, he might have had a bit of a problem, but it's unlikely. There we are, guys. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'm going to do a full cast of one of the BartonPL replays he sent up, because it does have some great play, and also it really highlights one of the commanders that I want to show you as well. So tune in and have a look at that video, which should be up there. I don't know how YouTube works, you know that. So check out the other video as well, guys, and thanks for joining.